Kellyanne, welcome back. Nice to see you this morning. I want to show you a poll that, I mean, this is stunning. New York Times. Do you think the climate is the most important problem facing the country? Total voters, 1%. Among Democrats, 3%. Among voters age 18 to 30, 3%. Same poll had the economy at 20 and inflation at 15%. Well,
that's right.
Where's the need?
It's unmistakable what's most important to Americans, including some of Joe Biden's core constituencies that he's really been bleeding out with in the polls. In the CNN poll also, Bill and Dana, you saw 68% of Americans say that Joe Biden does not focus on the issues most important to them. In fact, 57% of Democrats, 35% of voters of color, and 23% of young voters all said that Joe Biden focuses on the things most important to them. So you see this disconnect. 1% on climate change, 35% combined economy and inflation. Joe Biden has confirmed what we've always suspected, that he's mollifying the 1% of America. But also, I would add his focus, his new executive focus on climate change to the very long and growing list of Americans looking at the Biden-Harris White House and saying, that makes no sense. They don't understand, they don't think that he's connected to them in a way that he is listening to them and hearing their concerns. And when he goes to Massachusetts today, that's one thing. People should know two quick things. Number one is blaming Manchin is foolish because it is Joe Biden's Democratic Party that owns Washington. There's one party rule. His vice president has the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. They can be passing legislation. So if Joe Biden goes around Congress to try to move funding away from things like military and disaster relief funds for green energy, people are going to be upset with that, particularly if they're hard hit by hurricanes. Number two, on Earth Day this year, just less than 3 months ago, Joe Biden took a round trip from Washington, D.C. to Washington State, emitting more carbon than 8 Americans do each year, just in one round trip, to make the point about climate change on Earth Day. Total disconnect. And I think that's what's really costing him a lot of goodwill among people who otherwise want him to succeed and want him to run again.
Well, the other thing that's happening is that the White House knows that they've got problems, not just that poll, but across the board. And now, apparently, they are looking for a brand new communications team. Here on the board are some of the people who have recently left, women communicators, well, I thought I had a different one, but Psaki, Bedingfield, Simone Sanders, Amanda Finney, all have gone on to do other things because, one, they have opportunities, but also because they realize that they're just going to continue to be blamed for these poll numbers. All the Democrats just say, well, we just have a communications problem. So now they're trying to find a new communications team. But I would say that it's a fact problem, not a comms problem. But let's get your take since you were most recently there.
No question, Dana, and you know you had these jobs. They're tough jobs, but you can't be a good communicator if you're trying to communicate bad policy. And if your boss, in this case the president, and frankly the vice president, aren't that nice to the people around them, particularly the press. When Joe Biden got off of Marine One at the White House around 11:30 local time after his trip abroad, which was very embarrassing, coming back empty-handed, he came back with less oil than the Tin Man had in The Wizard of Oz. I mean, he came back and they asked him a very simple question that was on everybody's mind about the fist bump, and he yelled at the press, Dana and Bill, for saying, why don't you ask questions that are important? It's a very important question. Why did you fist bump MBS when you were over in Saudi Arabia? But I think what I also fear, and you and I had different relationships with the presidents that we worked for apparently than maybe they do currently. I also fear that there's nobody telling Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, this is not going well. We need to course correct. It's not a comms problem, it's a fact problem, and it's also a policy and priorities problem. We see that today in the climate change focus. And even the people who don't have families say that they've got to leave the White House to spend more time with their families or someone's family. So it just shows you, I mean, for 15 senior staffers to leave Kamala Harris's vice president's office, she's the first woman of color to hold that. Think about how historic it would be if you were there.
Yeah.
But you can't do it if you don't have the people at the top who, and I think Ron Klain's to blame here too. We don't see much of the chief of staff. He likes to tweet. We need a leader, not a tweeter, in the chief of staff's office.
Kellyanne, thanks for your time. And we'll try and book the Tin Man for tomorrow. Okay?
I like.
You got it.
I'm going to resign to spend time with somebody's family. That was a good one. And I might just use it for myself on the 5
Take
to 9.
care.
Thanks, Kellyanne.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.